Hello, hello, one and all. Welcome to our stream for today, where we're going to be doing This Week in Warhammer, where we are going to be looking at what is coming for the week ahead, pre-orders, all that sort of good stuff. Obviously, I have the green screen set up behind me for when we change the camera to actually show all the stuff. But hello to everybody. Thank you for joining us. We're going to be doing this every week, assuming the GW keeps up the release cycle that they are, and probably going to be pairing it with another show that I have in mind to do, but I'll reveal that when we get to it. Before I get started, I want to say a massive thank you to all of my patrons who make all of my videos possible. If you'd like to join them, there's links in the description of YouTube. If not, go to Pantheon Studios. Patreon.com/Pantheon Studios Australia, where you can get access to the Discord, the community, everything else. So let's start having a look at what we've got coming in Warhammer this week. Thank you very much, Lachlan, for the follow. Okay, so the first thing that we absolutely need to talk about is Grand Cathay. Now, I know I'm not starting with 40k. 100% I know I'm not starting with 40k, but this is a big step for GW. This is a very, very big step for GW. Now, I'm gonna zoom in. That'll take a little bit out from it. There we go. This is really big because the old world hasn't released any new miniatures whatsoever. But Grand Cathay changes that. The old world getting what has been teased in the lore over many, 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 many years and didn't actually come into fruition until we had Total War Warhammer 3, I believe they got introduced. This is a brand new faction, and these are models that I'm pretty sure are using the new technology that they built into to make new models. Now, why this is exciting for things like 40k fans, if this is the quality that we're getting out of something like the old world, which isn't as popular as 40k and hasn't been shown to be as popular as AOS just yet, though it is very, very new. This is really exciting because if we can expect models of this quality going forward for our 40k stuff, that could be really exciting, especially if they determine that they want to start redoing some of the stuff that got sent into Legends or taken away from Forge World not being used. So obviously that's speculation. That's not anything that I'm saying from, any position of knowledge, but let's have a look at what they're doing. So they've given us a key special rule for the army, which is Will of the Dragons. So this is a unit with this special rule may re-roll a failed panic test when a friendly unit is destroyed whilst within 6 of it, and when it is fled through by a friendly unit, obviously stops your army from collapsing quite heavily. Now, the Elemental Winds, I don't know enough about Old World to go through this. I will be learning from one of my players, Feud, once I can actually get aside the time to start delving into. But this is basically a yin and yang system, which we saw from Total War Warhammer 3, where you had to balance that, otherwise the army would fall out of balance. There were negatives, but if you maintained your balance, there were a lot of very, very positive things. And we can even see that it's conferring things like +1 movement, +1 initiative, or +1 weapon skill, and +1 leadership. Then we had... Look at the Sky Lanterns. I absolutely love these things. I think this is a great direction for them to take them. They could have released this army without any flyers. I don't know if getting this effect, this actually looks like paper. Whoever the painter is did an insane job on that. But I also wanted to look at, there was the army box which was coming. The battalion comes with 3 sets of foot troops, 2 cavalry units, and 2 different cannons. So the Jade Warriors obviously make up the core of the Cathay forces. Jade Lancers are the cavalry, though you can see they are particularly heavily armored. We have a Grand Cannon with our, we have Ogrins at home, as well as Old Man with a very, very long beard. I love this model so much. I actually love this model so much. And then we've got the Fire Rain Rocket Battery. Now, alongside the battalion, we also have the Shugengan Lord on Great Spirit Longma. What is Longma, you ask? Well, I'll let you answer that question. It's kind of like Sugma, or maybe Ligma. We have the Gate Masters of the Celestial Cities. There is an on-foot variant and there is a mounted variant. Both look absolutely insane. We have the Sky Lanterns, which are coming out. Incredible sculpts, down to the details. Like the dude sitting inside there, it'll be a nightmare to paint, so sub-assembly will basically be required. But if you do this thing well, your Sky Lantern is going to be really good. And then the big boys. The thing that I am the most excited to play. The Cathayan Sentinels. These things, I don't know what it is about the big ass, like stone warriors, whatever, but these things look absolutely incredible.
Old world, but I do Empire. Lastly, I can't be the only one who's disappointed in the GK Combat Patrol.
Thank you so much for the super chat, Edward Bailey. Great to have you in chat, bud. The GK Combat Patrol is actually something we're going to be touching on in This Week in Warhammer, because I think I have some thoughts on it. And yeah, I'll leave that to when we actually get to the 40k section. Is it just me or is Jay lagging? There shouldn't be any more lag. I did remember that we did install Darktide again. For anybody who hasn't been keeping track of it, and this might be a note, that's a different one. Anybody who's been keeping track of it, the Arbites class has just been released, as well as an update to the new player experience. That will be another stream that we'll be doing. So I did have that downloading in the background. That is done now. So lag shouldn't be an issue. But back to this, the Grand Cathayan Sentinels just look incredible. Absolutely incredible. They also got their own almanac. Arcane Journal. And then we've got the big centerpiece. This is one that I need to own this. I know that I can't get any of this stuff at the moment. Unfortunately, money's just a little bit too tight for that. But when I'm in a position to, getting Miao Ying is going to be maybe the first thing that I do. And even if I never play Old World, being able to just have this model sitting as like a centerpiece for the collection behind me is just pretty incredible. I'll go through a little bit of chat before we move on to our next thing. Hello to everybody who's joining us. It's so wonderful to have you. John Kidd, hello from Cleveland, Ohio, USA. Hello to you, John. Thank you for joining us. Wu-Tang Bear, as always. Don't know about any other nerds here, but I'm digging the Caradron Overlords reveals. That is going to be the next thing that we are looking at. Lockie and Charles, thank you for joining us. I heard through the grapevine there's new Master of Executions model. If you know, you know. Well, there will be a model that we're taking a look at. I don't know if it's the same thing, but yeah, feel sorry for the price you pay for GW stuff. We do pay the Catachan tax, unfortunately. That's what you get for being born on a death world, but you know, it is what it is. Blame the spiders over there or maybe the trapeze. That is what causes lag. That is absolutely true. Undead Lobster King, I shouldn't be lagging anymore. Is that still the case? Can anybody confirm? It is showing bitrate of 9,000, which is generally a really healthy bitrate. So that should be fine. I'm checking my preview is looking good. I'm not getting any lag, though that could just be because I'm in the same location. But yeah, Miao Ying looks so fucking good. What I might do, if there's lag with the start of the video, I might actually just go onto YouTube afterwards for the VOD and just cut it out. But so that is our Grand Cathay reveals. They look absolutely incredible. We'll have to see what impact they have on the old world meta. Obviously, the battalion, there was a breakdown that was done by, I think it was Spiky Bits, where the value of this box is actually like well above, you know, what you would expect GW to do for one of their boxes. But also because they're brand new sculpts, they actually posited that it's got even more value because you're not just getting like a resculpt, you're not getting, you know, something which already exists that, you know, there's a secondhand market for. These are all brand new models. AJ, hey Sarah, how you doing? Running it on 160 and it's still just hanging. That is really weird. Everything on my end shows that it should be fine. Like I usually get a bunch of warnings if we're having problems. Yeah. Oh, well, we'll power through, and if it's still a problem, it's a problem. Let's go back to Warcom and let's talk about our Caradron Overlords. Now, where are the boys? I had this up just a second ago. Let's go to AOS. Not lagging for me on any platform. Okay, well, that's good to know. I just moved from Twitch to YouTube, and it's night and day. YouTube stream seems totally fine. Maybe it's Twitch having a problem. I think Twitch is having a day. So I don't normally say this because normally Twitch is the better one, but anybody joining us on Twitch, feel free to join us on YouTube where there are no problems and it's all smiley, fun, happy times all through the days. So we have a couple of things to talk about from AOS, the big one being that there is a new General's Handbook. I want to say a massive thank you to GW, who sent me a code for the General's Handbook, so I already have that on my phone, and I've been looking over some of the new changes. It is a very, very interesting system change. Not only are there certain models that have been given a new data sheet, and you can take either the old data sheet or the new one, which, by the way, 40k players, take notice. This is a precedent that I actually wouldn't hate. Having different versions of data sheets, not losing one, but having access to an old and new one. Yeah, so anybody on Twitch, if you're having problems, go over to YouTube. Apparently YouTube is absolutely fine. Having old and new models to represent like an evolving battle, evolving, like a character going through story arcs and growing and changing or whatever else is a really cool concept that I really hope that 40k embraces. Because, let's say we look at Commander Farsight, for example. A character that is storied through the lore and is functionally immortal for the Tau. So we have a character which has his old data sheet, but then in one of the new releases for like a new mission pack or whatever else, and we had releases like this through Ninth where you had like, these different war zones that were happening. And we've kind of seen it with Leviathan and then Pariah Nexus, and the new one doesn't have a story attached to it, but we could. Imagine if 40k gave us a Farsight that had updated abilities and you could take either one. That would be really, really cool. And you could also have it pointed respective to the data sheet and the power that you've got. It means that, yes, there's a little bit extra complexity. You'd have to ask people for the tournament, but they actually have good tags on the GHB for which version of that data sheet you are taking. They also have a number of cool updates. So AOS is going to see a big refresh with this. It's very exciting for them. But let's get to something that people are very obviously excited about, which is the Caradron Overlords increase. So, there are winged monsters aplenty. Slan Star Masters float all over the place. Every night horde from the lowliest chain rasp to the black coach can soar over the battlefield, but none master the skies like the Caradron Overlords. So, we have here a Null Chemist. Brainchild of Aether Chemist Guild, the Null Suit is a premium piece of gear crafted from Nullstone meteorites that have fallen from the Aetheric Void. These heavy-duty suits allow their wearers to withstand the most hazardous environments imaginable, even the lands corrupted by the Skaven during the Hour of Ruin. The hazy aura of null gas shields nearby allies from deleterious magic, and when projected from null gas extinguisher directly into the face of a wizard, priest, or conjured manifestation, it can be especially lethal. Definitely don't try this at home. For a little more recklessness, look no further than the headstrong Von Grimm Salvagers, who eschew long-range firepower for the rattle of cutlasses and punchy report of pistols. These guys actually just kind of look like pirates that strap balloons to their back. It is actually kind of sick. I can fully see why there are a bunch of big fans of Caradron Overlords. If these are the models that you guys are getting, they look absolutely sick. You've also got dudes with like tridents and ropes. This dude has a little like reel to throw the trident at somebody and then apparently pull them in. This is the Von Grimm Harpoon Crew. Care not for their second swing at fame and fortune, instead seeking vengeance against whatever beast scuttled their ship and slaughtered their crew. That is awesome. You got like this, I assume that's a shotgun, bunch of harpooners. That is absolutely awesome. Then we've got the new Zontari Endron Dock, innovative defensive platforms. Originally created by the weaponsmiths of Barak Zon, this is a mobile platform designed to accompany a Skyfleet into combat. A single overseer operates the controls, pulling levers and yanking pulleys to help out with repairs and ensure their payload of auto endrons are deployed where they're needed most. Each a wonder of ether and endroneering. Oh my god, GW. Oh my god. And powered by complex athematic algorithms, these can nullify manifestations, deploy stun clouds, and drop grudge blast demolition. Sometimes the old methods truly are the best. This thing being able to nullify manifestations is actually kind of big. We'll have to see what they've got, but this is all in the lead up to the Order Battle Tome Caradron Overlords, where you have, what is this looking at? The Grunstock Trailblazers are a small and efficient force of Caradron Overlords sent ahead of larger sky fleets to forcefully stake a claim on ether gold deposits and other valuable loot. An Endron Master in the dirigible suit commands 5 Grunstock Thunderers, 3 Endron Riggers, and a nippy Grundstock Gunhauler. My God, that's a mouthful. Providing plenty of mobile firepower to help aggressively persuade other claimants to move on. I think this might be their spearhead. But yeah, this is a great set of releases for the Caradron Overlords. Obviously, I'm not a Caradron player myself, but I can definitely see in the theme of this army, this would be a great leaping off point with the Spearhead and then a couple of extra units to bolster you. We'll have to see what their rules are when they come out, but very, very exciting for our Caradron Overlords. Danny J and Lagan on mine. That's wonderful to hear. Man, those Cathay models look fucking sick, but don't actually want to play the old world. There is collector value in them. I will say they look amazing. Flying Dwarfs. Well, I was thinking about this in terms of Votann. Like, there is some design space here that they can take ideas for Votann and sort of transit them across. I don't know what they're going to be doing with it. I don't know when Votann are going to be getting their stuff, though they are on the docket for us to get sometime soon. So they do lock the data sheets to new old models. And can you pick any eligible data sheet with any version of the model? That is absolutely correct, Towdad. So if I go on there, my boys, the Lumineth Realm Lords, have a new model for the Light of Eltharion and for the Bannerblade. And when I've been building lists, I can choose either of them, and it has each of the data sheets that you can use. It is pretty goddamn cool. I haven't actually tried to see if I can take a new one and an old one. I'll have to see. But yeah, it is a really interesting design decision that I think 40k could get a lot out of. So that is our AOS. Let's have a look at Warhammer 40,000. Obviously, we have Black Templars on the horizon where they're starting to show the Codex supplement coming out. But I do want to talk about, before we get into the chat about Grey Knights, let's talk about the Excrecator, which is an interesting thing. I'm pretty sure we're just going to think excretions. So we've got a poop fella here. So this is somebody who can go with Black Templars with the Crusaders. Divine duty of the Excrecators to ensure the Black Templars' holy vows are fulfilled in battle, inspiring comrades with their own feats of martial prowess. So you can go a helmeted version or an unhelmeted version, which both look quite sick. They've got options for what looks like a hand flamer, a Crozius, or this guy is rocking a power sword. We don't have any, we do have a second line about its abilities. Accordingly, their remorseless persecution drives the unit they join into a berserk fury, letting them charge in the same turn that they advance. That's really big. This makes a tooled up squad of sword brethren into a terrifying cruise missile of a unit if missiles were made of blades and hammers. Even before factoring in the Excrecator's own fighting skills, if you opt to leave the Pyre pistol at home, he can pack a mastercrafted power sword in addition to his Crozius, giving the mad lad 8 2-damage attacks every time he fights. 8 attacks is insane. We saw from Space Wolves that the Wolfguard Battle Leader got 7 attacks on his Mastercrafted power weapon. This guy turns that up quite a bit, though the Wolfguard Battle Leader brings his own stuff to the table. Poop fella, you mean your dog? How is he? Mushu is wonderful. He's growing into quite the little fella. He is getting a little bit jealous of Malleus, so we're going to have to, temper that a little bit. But, he's still not jealous in a way where he, attacks Malleus or anything. He just tries to get my attention over and over again by, jumping up and getting, scratching at me, or not scratching in a bad way, but just, trying to get my attention because he desperately wants to be the center. Okay. Before we get into the big chat, obviously, we have Imperial Knights barreling towards getting their release. Chaos Knights, we've seen a bunch of different things for them. The rules look honestly really interesting for Chaos Knights. The bump to number of wounds is maybe problematic for a few different armies, but yeah. Then we also have the character pre-orders for the Wolves of Fenris. So, obviously, anybody that got the box got the Codex Supplement Special Edition. We have Logan Grimnar coming out, which looks amazing. Njal Stormcaller and Arjak Rockfist with their new models. We also have the Wolf Priest in a solo standalone. We have the Wolfguard Battle Leader in a solo standalone. We have the new Wolfguard Terminator models. Wolfguard Head Takers, which come with 3 of their boys, as well as 3 wolves. Blood Claws and Grey Hunters, and then you've got the data cards as well as new sets of dice. They're also chucking into this the drop pods, which I don't know if this is supposed to be something that we're, sort of tying up to be able to use, but new drop pods in units of 2 within their box. We also have Killzone Upgrade Shrine Statue as a made to order, which is a sister's model. Looks amazing. I don't know what the use case is, but this could be a collector's item for people. Black Library is releasing Dawn of Fire, the Silent King, for any of you Crons fans. I, for one, welcome our Necron Overlords. So, the sooner they get here and start ruling over my life and stepping on my neck, the better. Amazing looking book, honestly. This is just the non-leather-bound cover. And then we've got Paragon of Faith and Other Stories. This looks like it would be around Morven Val, if I'm not mistaken. Or it may just be a unit of Paragon Warsuits. Not sure. Ravenor, the Omnibus. Above and Beyond, which looks like a book about flyers. I wonder if that would actually be good. The cover itself has me interested in actually seeing what this is about. After reporting on the legendary exploits of aerial ace commander Lucille von Schad, propagandist Kyle Simlex returns to his scribe cubicle to waste away. A mysterious message claiming to come from von Schad is his one chance to escape. So Simlex journeys to Dighton, an imperial world in open rebellion, to find the ace pilot a haunted shadow of her former self. With the Xenos mercenary of unparalleled skill on the loose and the tide of war incoming, Simlex must help her prepare for a deadly fight or watch her suffer her final defeat. Above and Beyond by Danny Flowers will be available to pre-order and paperback next week. That actually looks like an interesting book. We've got Demon Hammer from the AOS side of things, following, of course, the poster boys, what are they even called? The Storm Guard or whatever they are. Oaths of Damnation, an Exorcist novel coming out, having a Reaver on the front of it. Ever Chosen, a book about Archaon, is also coming. Archaon, one of the most famous characters from the old world setting. And then just plugging a bit of Warhammer Plus. So, any Space Wolves fans, you have the characters coming out. As a reminder, for anybody that would like to support me directly, you can make a purchase on my behalf from R&R Hobbies. There's a link down in the description. Put the name as Pantheon Studios and the address as 42 Wallaby Way, Sydney. Pay for shipping as normal, and they will know to send that out to me. At the moment, I do not have any of the characters and have no plans to grab them just yet. As I said, money a little bit tight, so we're waiting on that. So if you would like to support the channel directly, you can do so through there and support R&R Hobbies as well. Let's get on to the big conversation that we need to have. Grey Knights Combat Patrol. So this has been released to a very, very mixed bag. Now, the reason that this is a mixed bag is that, well, a few reasons. So, there is absolutely an argument that this Combat Patrol is a great jumping off point for a person getting into the army. You have 2 strike squads, Castle and Crow, a Terminator squad, and a Vendread. Now, strike squads, ordinarily, when you get the kit, can be built as purifiers, as their shooting counterparts, and generally speaking, will have the backpacks to make them interceptors. This one, I don't know if we're going to be able to. Let's read a little bit more. 10-man strike squad, unified 5 Brotherhood Terminators. Do they mention anything about building them differently? They don't, so we'll have to see, because some of the kits like this can be more restrictive than if you were to buy the actual box of strikes themselves, where you can build any of those things. In terms of models you get, the new Castle and Crow is obviously a beautiful model. This is actually something that I don't even own for my Grey Knights yet. I have the old one just because I haven't touched Grey Knights in a little bit. I've been waiting for the Codex to see if I'll dive back into them. But at the moment, I've been playing Harlequins and Eldari and Space Wolves and, Tau with the refresh, and just no time for Grey Knights. He is a great character, especially in the Grotmus detachment, where it's all about purifiers. They do an amazing job at propping up the army and are the most played way to play them at the moment. The Vendread, I'm not super keen on, though there might be room for it in the Codex. Obviously, Teleport Strike isn't going away, so there is a chance that the Venerable Dreads are looking good for the Grey Knights, and it needs to be said that the Grey Knights do struggle to kill stuff. I think there not being a Nemesis Dread Knight in this combat patrol is a massive miss. They are cheaper than Venerable Dread Knights and are inarguably better than them. The strikes are fine. Building them into, one of the other kits, if it's possible, is great. The Terminators are also great. Grey Knights are one of the few people that use Terminators extremely effectively. There is actually an entire build where you run nothing but Terminators, as well as Cowboy Bebop. So you've got like a 6-inch charge out of Deep Strike. I think that one of the big problems isn't actually the combat patrol itself. The big problem is that you have Space Wolves getting a mad refresh. You have a bunch of armies getting a mad refresh and a bunch of new stuff. All Grey Knights got was new weapon options for the Grand Master so that you can differentiate them on the table. Now, we don't know what's coming with the book, but Grey Knights is a very, very skinny offering of models. I think the only armies that really compete with them for least number of unique data sheets or unique models is like Votan and Imperial Agents. Like, it is really bad. And World Eaters, we can chuck in there as well. Everybody getting these mad refreshes, Death Guard, which have a very broad range of models already, getting a bunch of characters and whatever else, and coming out with an extremely strong codex will leave a pretty bad taste in people's mouth. And, I mean, I can get it. Like, if you love your faction but you keep getting looked over for new stuff, you eventually hit the point where you've got nothing to buy. And there's nothing exciting in the faction. You have to be a real diehard to be on your Grey Knights non-stop. And unfortunately, those diehards just don't really exist. There are a couple, but it's not like other factions where you've got broad ranges to play differently all the time. They really only do one thing. And that can become very, very stale very, very quickly. So Grey Knights, I think that this combat patrol is really exacerbating for people that they just don't have the things that they need to play their army in different ways over a stretch of time. And this was a perfect opportunity for GW to do that. I don't know why they haven't given new options for them. I don't know why they haven't released new models. I feel like people would snap that shit up. But it's also, something from GW's side. The Grey Knights probably don't account for a huge amount of their revenue. So bringing out new models might be an investment into something that doesn't actually sell that much, because people say that they want it, but then it's really telling when you look at sales data afterwards what people actually buy as opposed to what people say that they want. So I can see both sides here. I do think this is a miss from GW's part. I really would have liked to have seen them have a big release for the Grey Knights, even just another infantry unit, a mounted unit, another type of vehicle that they could use. And it just, yeah. So if you love your Grey Knights, this is fine. If you already own all your stuff, you're not going to buy this box because, like, this is some of the more common stuff that you will get from a lot of different sources. So, yeah, Grey Knights, unfortunately, catching a little bit of a short end there, which is disappointing. I just went to their website rather than anything else, didn't I? For anybody who might be looking at Grand Cathay, you could pay GW prices, or you could go to rnrhobbies.com.au and pick yourself up something at an enormous, using code Pantheon, 26% off. Even at base, R&R do a monstrous 21% discount, which is really, really big, as the Pantheon code is going to be expiring soon. So make sure that you use that as soon as you can. There's obviously the Grand Cathay dice set, which we didn't cover in the article. Oh, thank you, baby. And yeah, so that is essentially all of the new stuff that we had slated to go over. We'll have to see in next week's This Week in Warhammer the effect that we're going to have from the release of Imperial Knights, Chaos Knights, all that sort of stuff. One thing that I did want to go over is just look at the stats for this week, because I was looking and there was some interesting data for us to look at. So, First and foremost, we have Imperial Knights and Death Guard, Emperor's Children, Chaos Demons, and Eldari as our top 5 armies in the game. Now, this should surprise nobody. Death Guard are doing very, very well. Imperial Knights, with the build that we saw from Jordan McGregor here in Sydney, that becoming popularized everywhere, they are doing very, very well. Now, what are the armies that are suffering? Imperial Agents, lol, you're not a real army. Black Templars, really down bad. Dark Angels, and then Tau Empire and Blood Angels in the bottom 5. Blood Angels surprises me a lot, but one thing that I noticed with Tau Empire, the data is actually not as representative as I thought it would be. So last week, we were at a 50% win rate. Pan Series is Kyle holding up the Tau? Well, no, the opposite. Well, not that he's dragging him down. When you look at the data, Cao Yon is sitting at 55% and Crude Hunting Pack at 51%. Now, this absolutely makes sense. Cao Yon, they're using the spender strat and, get double guiding so you can hit on 2s. That isn't something that GW's made a ruling on. WTC did make a big ruling which said that guiding is able to be done. You can't double stack guiding buffs, but you can give things like Crute reroll 1s to hit and wound with stealth suits. You can also use the enhancements to buff them. This is really big for WTC to rule this way because it means that either GW need to slap that down or this will be taken as a statement of intent if GW say nothing about it. And that is big because that means that even though they don't have for the greater good on their data sheet, they are functionally in Crete Hunting Pack getting guiding benefits because all you need is for the unit to have lost 1 model or to have lost 1 wound and they have +1 to hit. If they're below half strength, +1 to wound is also very, very big. If they're also getting reroll 1s to hit and wound, that means the Crutox riders become like the, we have fine knives at home. And they're very, very cheap for what they do. And yes, they don't have full rerolls to hit, but hitting on 3s, rerolling 1s is almost as good. One thing that I did notice, though, is that these play rates are exceptionally small. Games played, 138 with 27 players. 69 on Crude Hunting Pack with 12 players. Oxcad, 100 games, 19 people. Montcar, 81 games with 16 people. Retaliation Carter, 94 with 18. And wait for it, 167 with 34 people on Experimental Prototype Carter. Most of the games that are being played are on Experimental Prototype Carter with a 36% win rate. Most of our players are on this detachment and they are dragging the win rate down. Cao Yon and Crude Hunting Pack are trying to rip them up, and Experimental Prototype Carter and Retaliation Carter are ripping them down. Now, Retaliation Carter not as much because we only have 18 players, but 34 players with 167 games played on Experimental Prototype Carter is leading to Tau Empire having a 44% win rate overall. That is incredibly interesting to look at the data in that way, not just as an overall. And this is why I actually think I want to do as part of our weekly stream, I am going to look at win rates as part of This Week in Warhammer, because I think that breaking down the data really helps show not only is the faction good or bad, but is there something which is overwhelmingly propping it up? If we look at something like AdMech, as we can see up here, Datastorm Conclave has an 80% win rate. This is dragging AdMech up so much. There is 1 player playing it, and that gives them the data. And then 40 players on Halo Screed. Down here, you've got 19 players on Skitarii Cohort, and you've got 4 players on Cohort Cybernetica with 22%, trying to, bring that back down. Analyzing the data is actually really interesting. Imperial Knights, they won't have too many options, but I can guarantee you it's Noble Lance the whole way. Yep. Quest or Forge Pack not doing that well. I was interested looking at Eldari and the breakdown that they had, where even after the nerf, Devoted of You Need These Nuts in Your Mouth is still doing incredibly well. Can you check if Garda, yeah, I'll check Garda after this. So Devoted of Your Need, still doing incredibly well. Sea Council, 57%. Aspect Host of 47. Armored War Host, the Grotmus detachment that nobody wanted to play, still sitting at a clean 50%, but it's only 1 player playing it. Aspect Host has 80. Devoted of Your Need has 141 players. This is when we want to look at representative data. This is what you want to look at. 141 players with 774 players really shows what, this detachment is doing. No, basically nobody's playing Windrider, nobody's playing Guardian, nobody's playing Warhost. Very few people are playing Harlequins, which, by the way, this army fucking slaps. This is not representative. And Spirit Conclave with 18. Let's have a look at our Astra Militarum. Sitting at 45%. However, Mechanized Assault is keeping them at 50 with 23 players. Hammer of the Emperor really surprises me. 95 players, 475 games at 45% win rate. Bridgehead got over-nerfed like a motherfucker. This is so bad to see a really great detachment and then it going particularly badly. So, Mechanized Assault seems to be the way the players are getting a decent amount of value out of it. We have 23 games and 120 games played. Now, one thing that I do want to look at is in the meta, this is including the release of Codex Emperor's Children. If I remove that and just go the new Codex Death Guard and Codex World Eaters, the data changes even more. Imperial Knights drop below Death Guard. Then we've got Eldari bumping into the number 3 spot. Necrons actually at 55%. And our top 5 drops Emperor's Children and becomes Necrons up there. And even more interesting when I look at, my baby, Eldari. We've got Devoted If You Need These Nuts in Your Mouth at 65%. Sea Council and Windrider jumps up to 60%. Only 2 players, but a 60% win rate across the 10 games played over what I assume is like a GT 5-round thing. We also have Ghosts of the Webway jump up, 8 players doing very well at 50%. It also means the Tau Empire goes to a 42% win rate. So we were doing better last week. Cow Yon at 42%, Creed Hunting Pack at 47%. That shouldn't surprise anybody. I said in my stream that Cow Yon and Crude Hunting Pack were going to be absolutely fine, and it looks like they are. Interests me that Retaliation Carter is this far down, but also looking at the data, look at, we're being dragged down by Experimental Prototype Carter. I think what Tau is looking at the moment, and this is something that we cannot ignore, the buffs weren't good enough or weren't seen to be good enough to attract meta-chasing players back to the faction. This is all diehards. This is diehard Tau fans, and look at how few players there are. 15, 3, 12, 10, 8, 12, whatever. Look at Death Guard, 167 players, 89 players on Knights, 128 players on Eldari, 123 players on Necrons, 100 players on Demons. This is the diehards on Tau. You will notice a change in our win rate when anybody believes that Tau is good enough for them to take it, and then you have meta chasers jumping back on, those sort of players that are so good that they can play anything and get results out of it. What page are you looking at these win rates on? So go into the main thing, metadata dashboard 10th edition, and then I've got Pariah Nexus, Codex, Death Guard, and World Eaters turned on. We did have Emperor's Children turned on before as well. So, interesting looking at the data, the meta is currently being dominated by Death Guard and Imperial Knights almost universally. 59% is outside of the projected win rate they want them to be. However, Eldari, Necrons, and basically everybody until you get to Orcs is within that win rate percentage. Now, as a note, I want to finish off with what I've been playing over the last week. I have been playing a ton of Space Wolves, Harlequins, and also a Space Marines build that I had a lot of fun on a few of the test games that I've been able to play. I cannot believe the damage that Land Raider Redeemers do with their Flamers, and being able to get +1 to wound on those, as well as setting up. Let's go to live scenes so you can actually see the list properly. There we go. Let's go to our Space Marines, and I'll let you know what we're doing. Actually, I'll start with my Harlequins list for anybody who might want to play this themselves. Let's look at, is there a view option? Enable custom view. Nope, can't do it. All right, that's fine. We will go army roster. No, profiles and rules, cool. So, what I'm running, Epic Heroes, Janzar, and Solitaire. This is obviously in Ghosts of the Webway where you've got a bunch of movement tricks. I've been using these to great effect. Shadow Seer with the Mistweave enhancement, triple Troop Master with Fusion Pistols and Troop Master's Blade. One of them is the Warlord. Nobody has any enhancements. 2 units of 5 Corsair Void Reavers for the Scout move. A unit of 12 Troop, 3 units of 5 Troop, all of them with the max number of Neurodisruptors, Fusion Pistols, all of them with Harlequins, Blades, the leaders with Power Swords. 2 units of 5 Fire Dragons, unit of 5 Howling Banshees with an Executioner, Fire Pike on the leader of the Fire Dragons, unit of Rangers, 2 units of Falcons for the Deep Strike Transport shenanigans, and 3 units of Star Weavers. This comes out at 1990 points and has been a monstrous list. The next list that I've been playing a ton, Burn for Cavill has been the Salamanders list that I've been playing. Vulcan Heston as the Warlord, a Lieutenant with Combi Weapon, Lieutenant, an Intercessor Squad for Sticky, Assault Intercessor with Jump Packs for Deep Strike, 10 Infernus and then 2 units of 5 Infernus Squads, Invader ATV with Multi-Melter, 2 Land Raider Redeemers with Hunter Killer, Multi-Melter, and Stormbolter, triple Predator Destructor with Hunter Killers and the Autocannon and double las cannons, and then 2 Storm Speeder Hammer Strikes. This is a very vehicle-heavy list, but it is fucking monstrous. Absolutely monstrous. Your Overwatch threat, the fact that if you oaths a unit and it doesn't die in your shooting phase, you can Overwatch it with oaths, which is pretty great because oaths, it drops when the unit dies or at the start of your next command phase. This has been a great list. Unfortunately, Wolves, I don't really have a list here, which makes sense because we don't have any of the new stuff. I've been trying out all of the detachments as well as Stormlance. And the last thing that I've been playing is a very, very cool Kroot list where we have been going between Kroot Hunting Pack and Auxiliary Carter, both with good results. The Auxiliary Carter one is Darkstrider, a Commander in Cold Star with Missiles and Cyclic, a Kroot Lone Spear with Fanatical Convert, unit of single Kroot Carnivores, Pathfinder Team Triple Stealth Suit, a Vespid Stingwing Squad, 18 Krootox Rampages, 2 units of 5 Kroot Hounds, a Fire Knife Squad, double Hammerhead with Ion, double Skyray with Smart Missile Systems. This is very, very similar to the list that we have been playing, and I think this is, we did update this. So the Kroot Hunting Pack version, which I can actually recommend over the Auxiliary Carter for boards which facilitate it. The invuln is so hard to go past, but Auxiliary Carter outperforms it in damage. And having advance and charge is really great. We have Darkstrider, Kroot Lone Spear. For reference, Darkstrider I'm including, and the Kroot Hawk Flock I've been using for Deep Strike Denial because I have very, very good deep striking players in my meta, especially Alex Inglezos on the new Tyranids detachment. There's a few really good Grey Knights players that use 6-inch Deep Strike quite well, so I need to play around those in my local meta. Change this as you need for yours. Single unit of Kroot Carnivores, Fast Stalkers for the Infiltrate game, triple Stealth Suit, single unit of Vespids, 18 Rampages. I have 6 Krootox Riders broken up into 3 units of 2. Triple Hammerhead, double Ion, and a Railgun, and then 2 Skyrays. This is a variation of the list that was played by Drew, doing very, very well in a tournament just recently, and I've been finding a lot of benefit from this as well, and that is what I have been playing this week. When do we order the characters, Jay, so I can get some funds together? So Rainer has asked for pre-orders. So we'll be getting that together and then he'll let us know our allocation. I believe they go on pre-order this weekend coming, and then GW will probably fulfill it the week after. Might put it down as a birthday gift. That's a great idea. That's a great idea. Well, just if you want to message Rainer directly, either that or just DM me and I'll send through the pre-order to him. But that is our stream for today. That is This Week in Warhammer. We're going to be doing this every single week. I will be picking a consistent day where we're going to be doing this, but again, I want to say thank you to all of my patrons who make all of my videos possible. If you would like to join them, get access to the Discord, and potentially coaching from me, have a look at the different tiers in YouTube membership or Patreon, where you can get access to that. The $5 tier or higher gives you access to it. Also, to remind everybody, if you want to support the channel directly with models and see them on the table and me using them at tournaments, go to rnrhobbies.com.au, make an order under the name Pantheon Studios. The delivery address is 42 Wallaby Way, Sydney. They will know that it's for me. There are a bunch of things you can buy me there that I will be using in tournaments very, very soon. Obviously, nothing is expected, but I have been asked about this number of times, so we have it available. Edward Bailey, show us Doggo, we right. You know what? I will bring in Mushu and Mally and give you guys the ability to say hi to my 2 beautiful boys. I'll be back in just a moment. Don't go anywhere. We will have puppy and baby very, very soon. Okay, everybody, here we go. Here's the little puppy man. Hey, Mushu. And my other little puppy man that's not quite the fur puppet. Hey, you trying to jump down, Mushu? Can you say hi to everybody? Hello, YouTube and Twitch. Hello, YouTube and Twitch. There you go, my little man. Down you go. And then here's Daddy's little boy. Yeah, hi, Stinker. Hi, Stinker. This little boy had his first proper laugh the other day, is recognizing names and doing really well, and hasn't pooped on me in like 2 weeks. Hey, have you, little
It's
boy?
been a while, actually.
Oh, no, he did get me last week. Hasn't pooped on me in a week. Hey? All right. There we go. All right, everybody. Unfortunately, I have to go and be an adult, but it's been wonderful to see everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. Who had the honor of causing it? It was Mushu. Mushu got the laugh out of him. There will actually be, for everybody that's in the Discord, there'll be a video going up soon. Unfortunately, Discord was like, it's way too big. But I'll be putting it up on the Patreon as well for people to have a watch. So yeah, if you'd like to have a look at that, head to the Patreon and whatever else and get access to the Discord. We've got channels for not only Mushu, but we also have for Mally as well. There's the Auto Malleus, and there is Mushu's Dojo, where everybody puts in pics of their pets and whatever else. But I want to thank everybody for being here, and we will see you. Aside from our other streams, where we're going to be playing some Dark Tide, the new RBDs class, we will be doing this every week, so keep an eye out for This Week in Warhammer. Thank you, GW, for the codes to codexes and whatever else. It's been really great. And we will see you in the next one. You want to say bye, Mally? Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.